Hey, what's up, guys? It's Munch of Team Dual Money, and I'm here with my actual. Shut up. I'm here with my actual deck that I played. I played this deck, well, variants of this deck for like 3 years. And hold on, somebody's calling my phone. And it's my twin. Quiet. um, I've played variants of this deck for the longest time, over I think like 3 years, yeah. And I really like it. It's just what I mean, I've made other decks, but I wouldn't play anything about over these, to be honest. So we're gonna start with two yellow gadgets. Uh, Props to my homie Nathan. Um, he gave me like this deck a long time ago. But yeah, two yellow gadgets, 12 attack monster. When it's summoned, can get a green gadget to the hand. Yeah, two of those. Two red gadgets, 13 attack. When it's summoned, get a yellow gadget. Same old, same old. Two greens, same thing. 14 attack. Lets me search out into a red gadget. Next is three gear frame. 18 attack monster lets me add fortresses to my hand. I can equip to machine type monsters so that people, so shenanigans don't happen where if they dark hole or if they torrential or mirror force or any of that BS, and it actually happened to me today at locals, and I'm glad I had him equipped. Next is triple fortress. Fortress is got it has to be the MVP of the deck. I mean, come on, it's a Machina or Machina, however you want to say it, deck, and it's 25 beater. When it's targeted by effect monster's effect, I can look at my opponent's hand, discard the card, or when it's destroyed by battle, I can pop a card on the field. So just all around really good deck, and I can special summon it by sending machine type monsters whose level equal 8 or more to the graveyard, and he can send himself along with pretty much any machine type monster and special it from the graveyard, because you can special it from hand or graveyard, not deck, unfortunately. That would just be too broken. This deck would get hit so fast. Now, as far as the other cards, Two Valor really ask for it this format. I mean, you can't really do much if you don't run some sort of response cards,
Chariots.
like chariots, yeah, like with glad beasts. Um, two ancient gear gadgiltrons, 3K beaters. Um, you can't mirror force, you can't do any of that BS. So as long as these are on the field, plus you can pitch. Wow, you can you can pitch this by itself to the graveyard to special summon fortress. It's like easy monster reborn, and then one gores just for those just in case moments. And well, in my opinion, the second MVP of the deck, it has to be. It's so funny. Grand Mole. Grand Mole is so funny, especially when I have Fortress on the field, because people they'll try to set on me, or they'll synchro or overlay or whatever. Like today, somebody Zen Mines, and I had Fortress on the field, and they're like, "Go ahead and attack me." And I drew into Grand Mole. I was like, "Okay," and I attacked it, bounced it back to his extra, his materials from the graveyard. This went back to my hand, attacked 25, and then the next turn after that, he set same thing, attacked for 25 for game. Now for spells, triple MST. MST three, you have to run three with all the stuff coming out in these formats, with especially with the stuns. I mean, Fiendish Chains alone, they're bad enough, but then there's people running D fissures with injectors and uh, skill drains. There were so many TG skill drain decks, TG stun decks today at locals. I mean, I'm glad I run three. Get rid of the BS. Heavy Storm, normal staple. Everybody should run Heavy Storm. Of course, obviously not everybody, but then double duality. What I do with duality is if I have a searcher in my hand, which is like any gadget or gear frame, I play the searcher. If the effect is cool, I draw or I search the card and then I duality. So that way I have a better chance of pulling something I actually need to get. Um, and since we're talking about pots, pot av, obvious. Now, double Geartown. I usually fight, or not usually, but it's funny when I fight for field spells against other people, and if I get this on the field first, it's destroyed, and I get to get the effect. So, like, say if someone if I'm playing Gravekeepers and I Geartown game one or no turn one, and then they Necro Valley. It gets the destruction, and I can get out a Gadgetron to the field from the deck, and they're like, "Oh no, what am I gonna do? It's a 3K beater." You know what I mean? Now, hands down, the funniest or one of the funniest cards of the deck. People don't expect it, but it's a really good double creature swap. Creature swap is hilarious. I don't know how many games I've actually won with creature swaps because they'll have some BS card on the field, like say BLS, and I go yellow gadget, and they're thinking, oh, it's just a gadget, it's just a yellow gadget, blah blah, there's nothing, and they let it fine, it's fine, resolves, get the search to my hand, then a creature swap, and then they're like, oh shit, because creature swap gets around a lot of things because it doesn't target. So if they have one monster on the field, like say they have one BLS, like I said, and I gadget, I get their monster, and it's just good game for them. I mean, if I get two creature swaps in one hand and I have like a gadget, I'm like, okay, it's just as good as having Fortress or Gear Frame in the hand. Reborn, um, obviously. A lot of people don't like running this card, but I mean, I've won games with it. It's not necessarily a bad card to have. It could be a bad card to top deck in if you don't have no field, but limited removal doubles the attack, and then usually I overlay or I equip with gear frame so my actual beater doesn't get destroyed if I don't actually kill them. And last spell, Dark Hole. Obviously, I mean, gets rid of anything. Inzectors can plus, but I mean, still, it's a clear field. I can push for game. Now, as for the traps, one torrential. I I I, I thought about running two. Actually, no, I lied. Two torrential. They weren't next to each other. Um, it's all right. I usually side out the second torrential, but it's just just in case for like game one and BS happens, a torrential and they call priority and I effect Veiler. It doesn't matter. Two torrentials is nice. Um, Magical hats. Funny thing is, I don't go into magical hats that often. Um, it's not a dead card or anything, but I mean, people. A lot of times I have like a high attack beater on the field, so like 25. So like a fortress who's 25, they can't attack, so they don't even bother attacking. But say I had a gadget and they attack, magical hats and choose two gear towns. Cause let me get the gear towns out actually. The gear towns. Cause when magical hats happens, I can choose two spells or traps from the deck, and I choose two gear towns. Now, the reason why I choose gear towns is because when they're destroyed on the field, and they can search or they can special summon Gadgetrons, and what happens is even if they choose not to attack, Magical Hat's effect destroys it at the end of the battle phase, not the end phase, the end of the battle phase. So I get two Gadgetrons regardless, and I keep my monster too. So it's pretty. It's a really good combo. I always get compliments on it. I don't even remember. who came up with it or who like gave me the idea, but yeah, I only run one. I figured two would be very slow, especially since I try to push for game most of the time. But yeah, one bottomless, one solemn warning. Uh, the reason why I tech one of each, I don't need to worry about monsters. I mean, if I play rabbits, then I'll put actually, well, to be honest, if I play rabbits, I'm gonna play two bottomless. But if I play insectors, I'm gonna play two warnings and windups. Actually, I'm gonna take both of these out for chain disappearance. But just cards that you can really just go with. One mirror force, obviously. A lot of times, I'll have mirror force and magical hats at the same time in the same hand, and I'll set magical hats and mirror force, and then when they attack, first at the battle phase, the start of the battle phase, I'll activate magical hats, and then when they choose their target, I'll mirror force, so that way their field is clear, and I have 3K beaters on the field afterwards, after resolving. And hands down, the funniest card that I've ever used. A lot of people overlook it. I don't understand why, but two magic drains. Magic drain is basically says uh, if my opponent activates a spell card, I activate this, I chain this, and they can negate it by sending a spell card from their hand to the graveyard, but or otherwise it's negated. This card is funny because I mean I usually do this on searchers. Like I won't MST. I try not to use these on MSTs or heavy storms. Actually, I would use this on heavy storm, but I use these two over Dark Bribe because I don't want them to get a plus. I want them to get a minus. So I mean, Dark Bribe, they get the draw. This one, they discard. You see, it's obvious. But a lot of people don't run that many spells, or you know, Dark Worlds. They play a lot. But I mean, this tech goes against anything for the most part. If you run spells, or if you don't run a lot of spells, but you run spells like Rekindling. Uh, I usually use these for searchers, like Reinforcement of the Army, stuff like that. Gladiator, what is it? Proving Grounds. Yeah, the searchers
Screw it.
or asceticisms. I don't use these on like the main like decks like Dark World. They use a lot of spells like Drag Down to the Grave and what's the other one?
No.
Drag Down to the Grave.
Dark World Dealings?
Dark World Dealings. There you go. That's the one. And then Card Destruction. Regardless of what they do, I mean, except for card destruction, obviously, they have to pitch. Actually, no. Most times when Dark Worlds use card destruction, they set their spells and traps, so it works really well against card destruction. But like Dark World Dealings, those cards, I mean, they can send a spell to negate it, but they still go -1, so they get one less play that turn. I mean, it's not gonna hurt the deck, like it's not gonna oh god good game kind of deck, or do that. But what it would do, it'll harm it. It'll stop one play, if not two plays. It can stop an entire play if they only have one spell card and they really need it. Like say I have a Gadgetron in the graveyard. I have 400 life points and a gadget on the field, and they try to Monster Reborn, like they top deck into a Monster Reborn, and I Magic Drain it. That's a good game. You know what I mean? Like it's just a good staple, and a lot of people overlook it. I don't know why, but that's enough about Magic Drain. I just really love this card. It's a great tech. As far as
We all have our weird techs on team.
yeah, we do have weird techs, but as far as side deck goes, I actually will go over my side deck. One Sangan. Now, a lot of people will wonder why would you run that? I mean, were you gonna search out a gadget? No, I'm gonna search out a third Effect Veiler, a DD Crow. I had two, but I let a friend use one and he didn't give it back. So instead of a second DD Crow, I went into one Consecrated Light, Consecrated Light. If I get it first turn and they can't do anything about it, bam, that hurts them for a couple turns. Like you'd have to draw into like for Inzectors, you have to draw into a dark hole. You know, you have to do something because you can't summon. You have to set, and Inzectors don't have high defense. So if I Fortress and I attack, their shit's gone. It's just gone. DD Crow, get rid of their Hornets, windups, Hornets, their Hunters if it's windups, and Effect Veil obviously, bam. Yeah. Double Cyber Dragons. I do not use these cards that often because a lot of times people will try to Monster Reborn and I have to waste them. And Monster Reborn and Chimera Tech Contact, and a lot of times I have to waste a Magic Drain on saving myself. That's bad. But I mean, the if I really need to, I will use these, especially in a mirror match. I will use these. Um, yeah. Now, for Dark Worlds and Inzectors, because both, well, Dark Worlds especially, they really, because they really hurt Fortress, because Fortress's effect is mandatory to discard a card from their hand. So what they'll do is they'll set all their spells and traps, and then try to pop it with Grappa. Then they get the discard, and they get the So what I use is double Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors, monster effects or dark monster effects on the field and the graveyard go bye-bye. So you can't do anything about that. Um, another side that I use for Inzectors and windups. Well, not so much windups. I mean, I can't really. All I can really get rid of is the rat, but double chain disappearance. I yeah, it's just a good card to go with. I used to side these against agents where they would shine ball into Gachi Gachi or use it on Earth and Earth goes bye bye and their tuner for the deck goes bye bye. But you know, one rivalry of Warlords. If I just happen to be going into game two against windups, and I mean, I would run two, but I could not find room for it. And it seems like if I drew two, it'd be slow. So, but it gets rid of windups and just rogue decks, kinky bio decks, one level one decks. Starlight Road, Torrentials at two. Hell, I use two Torrentials. Heavy Storm, Dark Hole. There's a lot of things I can just destroy. This is just in case. I don't intend to. Normally I don't use this because because Inzectors they pop one at a time, but yeah, just in case. Second warning, like I said, the second bottomless is at home. But I didn't bring it today because I teched something else. But second warning, just in case if they use like low level monsters, like say, oh, there you go, second bottomless. Yeah. Second, just in case, like I played a junk doppel deck, and they're trying to go ham on me. I'm like, no, solemn warning. So yeah, that was great. And also Necro Valley. Necro Valley, I mean, it hurts everything except me. I mean, Fortress's effect to special summon it from the graveyard is Fortress's effect, so it doesn't hurt me, but windups trying to do the loop with Hunter, not happening. Um, no. Inzectors trying to get a Hornet from the graveyard, not happening. Also, if I activate Geartown, and then I set one of these face down, I can get Gadgetron on my turn instead of having to MST it, and then I can activate Necro Valley after searching, you know what I mean? And it works against Chaos decks too. Like they can't remove from play. A lot of people forget that part. I tend to forget it too, but like I had Necro Valley on the field, and he tried to go into Chaos Sorcerer, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then the guy sitting next to me was like, no, what are you talking about? You have Necro Valley on the field. I was like, oh shit, you're right. But I still lost that game. But it's just a nice side. I mean, As far as my side deck goes, I wouldn't want anything else in there, except for maybe Fairy Wings or Phoenix Chains. No, I wouldn't side that. Yeah, but as far as extra deck goes, double Utopias, the gadgets and the gear frame, they're all level 4s, easy to get into. Helped me all hell against this Wangu Burden deck. Oh god, it was just all bad. Illuminite, pitch dead card in my hand. It's just in case. It's most of my extra deck is just in case because I don't sync that often. Um, Catastor. Catastor I can get into with like summoning an effect veiler. Yeah, if there's a like say Hyperion or something something non-dark on the field, and I can't get past it with Fortress, I'm gonna go into this hands down, definitely. I got to do this for the first time today, so it was hilarious. But two Junk Warriors. The reason why I have these is because creature swap. It's funny. My opponent summoned Junk Warrior, no Junk Synchron. I effect veilered it, and then next turn I creature swapped twice. I creature swapped a gadget and uh, I think two gadgets, and he had a level 2. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was a Maxi. He normal summoned Maxi for no reason, and didn't decided not to sync because he was scared of back row. So he left them on the field. I creature swapped both. Went into junk. Went into junk warrior. That was a funny play. Yeah. Um, Next, Iron Chain. The same way I get into any other of the synchros that are besides level 5 or 7 or level 5 or 8 is if I creature swap and then I creature swap one of their tuners somehow. I've gone into this a couple times. Iron Chain, make the mill. Brio, obviously same thing, getting into it. I don't pitch it. I don't pitch that many cards. I'm not trying to like clear their whole field because I'm terrified as all hell of Gores. um, Black Rose Dragon, Nuke Field, obvious staple for any extra deck. Now the cards that I do go into a lot, but if I sync with Effect Veiler and Fortress, Stardust, or I can get that with Starlight Road, uh, negate anything, and for 6 Sams, my MVP of the extra deck against 6 Sams, Colossal Fighter. Colossal Fighter, they have if the game drags on and for whatever reason BS happens and I'm trying to stay alive or I'm trying to push for game as fast as possible so they don't sink it to Barkion or Beast again a second time. Um, I'll get this on the field, gets a boost from their entire graveyard, tack, 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 tack. just just a great card to go into against those. Well, that's my Machina build. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to Team Dual Money's page, and hopefully we'll have some more content for you coming up. Much of Team Dual Money, and good.